the way men used to make themselves attractive was by being providers. That's no longer good enough. So men are struggling to find, I suppose, a meaning or purpose in their life, because it used to be go provide for your family. If you're a provider, you'll find a woman, you'll take care of her, single income household, you'll be the sole breadwinner. That's how it used to be. However, now because of feminism, and I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. However, it's perhaps an unintended consequence of basically doubling the labor pool. And there's articles about this of women saying that they're not able to find economically attractive partners, and men are not appealing partners from an economic and financial sense.
I find it interesting and it's difficult, because if you just stated, and with women in postpartum, and women even do this when they're not experiencing postpartum, to where they don't communicate what their needs are, or they don't communicate it in a way for that man to understand it, right? So you just said that your husband felt that he was doing all that he can do. However, you felt otherwise. But until whatever point that was communicated, he didn't know that. He thought he was doing the right thing, right? But women, I think men, and I wouldn't say by default, but at some point, once you get into your 20s, men understand, if you're on your menstrual, right? Already your emotions gonna be like this. Even when you're not on your menstrual, this is gonna be like this. So men are constantly doing this juggle for women in order to appease them. So once you do get into this postpartum point, and it's like, okay, I'm assuming that what I'm doing is the right thing, because she's not saying that she needs something different, or she doesn't even know what she needs in this point. So in that circumstance, what is it that men are supposed to do?
I would say it's the same thing in terms of you asking us to communicate. I think sometimes we need you guys to initiate, right? So some of that initiation is communicating to us like, babe, I see that you're going through something. I don't know exactly what it is. What do you need from me? That's it. Sometimes it just takes that to know that you're noticing.
But you just said that you expected for him to know what you needed. You shouldn't have to say it.
After the conversation him and I had, like I said, 25 years later, when I broke it down, he was like, I understand. He said, I give it up. He said, I understand why you felt the way that you did and you made the decision that you did. He said, because now it does. It seems absolutely obvious. And I should have. But he was like, we were young. And again, you live and you learn. Both of us were in a space where both of us were young. Both of us were learning and going through that process of learning, right? But yeah, it was very obvious. And he was just like, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking in that moment, and that's all he could say. Right. I don't think that that's the situation all the time, because even when I was pregnant, he caught me just crying on the toilet. Right. I was like, well, he was like, what's wrong? What's going on? What are you crying for? He's, ready to fix it. And I was like, I don't know. And he's just like, what do you mean you don't know? And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, are you crazy? And that just made it worse, what I'm saying? So again, it's the not understanding. I couldn't explain it. He couldn't understand it. But saying I'm crazy didn't make the situation good, right?
That's fair.
So it's just like, I guess in part of the vetting process is, how do you vet for things like that? I guess it's kind of my question. Is it because you don't You don't know how to vet somebody for unexpected situations. Like, how do you handle unexpected situations? Like pregnancy and women, hormones all over the place and being crazy. Is you can't, like, how does one vet for that as a woman?
I don't know if that's a question for women though, right? Because women
No,
are
I'm
the ones.
asking you
Oh,
as a man,
well,
from a man's
well,
perspective,
from a man's
given this woman,
perspective,
if I'm dating as a woman, what do I need to be looking for from a man to see if he would be able to handle like a situation like that? What should I be vetting? What should I be looking for?
I mean, I would say in that case, those are just basic leadership skills. Now, I think the conflicting part with that is most leaders, and I would assume most men in those situations, men, we're looking to fix it. You know, you sitting on the toilet, damn, babe, what's wrong? I don't know. How can I fix that? Damn, what's wrong with you? Are you losing you losing your marbles? You know what I'm saying? You know, what's the problem? But women would follow up and say that sometimes we don't want y'all to fix it, we just want y'all to listen, right? So now we're again doing this yo-yo of am I supposed to be listening right now, or am I supposed to be fixing the situation? So I think for men it's a um for men, I would say from I would almost say that it's a lose-lose situation, because you don't know what to do, and you're finding out once the problem arises, compared to um I know what I'm supposed to do, but this isn't going to work because she doesn't even know what she wants.
Well, I think that,
If that makes sense.
yeah, but what I've come to learn and am continuing to learn, again, like I said, through this fast that I had, like we've had some great conversations. So that's why it's like, oh, y'all talk about stuff from 25 years ago. It's not that like stuff is going on. It's just since we're not on social media, since we've just had time, we had conversations, spending time together creates time for conversations. Is that is it's I think it's okay to not know something. It's you're not gonna know everything. But what I think it's important is to admit when you don't know, right? Is the me saying, you know what, babe, I don't know, right? Or for him to say, like, I really don't know, I want to help, but I really don't know what to do right now. It's okay, right? So I can't expect you to do something that you have no idea what to do, right? But you put it out there that I'm ready, and I'm willing to help you in whatever way you need once you figure out exactly what it is you need. At that point, it puts it back on me to figure out what that might be, right? So that's where it is. Just like me, I had no idea he felt the way that he felt because he did not share it with me. I'm looking at a strict, like, this is very obvious. He's not doing it. He doesn't care. I got to consider the fact that, dang, if he's thinking like this right now and the baby's 2, 3 months old, this ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I might end up being a single mom. Like, all of these things are running through my head. And it was a rational decision in that moment. It really was. But in hindsight, now that am now looking from a 40 plus year old, in my 40s perspective, that I could have handled that situation differently, right? But both of us was working based on a small experience set, a small knowledge set at that time. So it's just very important that whoever you're choosing, like I said, I don't have the knowledge of knowing how to vet for somebody that knows how to be like, that can be flexible. Like that's just not so stuck on it needs to be like this, or somebody that's not open to having discussions and figuring things out. It has to be just this way, on both ends. Because even though I was right in my thinking and the decision that I made, it was right for that time. Had I continued to move on, me and my husband wouldn't have, made it to 21 years. We would have not, we wouldn't have gotten married. You know what I'm saying? So it's being able, and I'm grateful for him that even at that age that he was still wanting the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Um, but you can't have relationship by yourself. But both people have to be willing to communicate and learn from each other. And I don't think many people are. Everybody wants to be the one that's right.